Hello and welcome to another evening of down-to-earth conversation on hard copy, reaching you from Channels Television Studios here in Lagos. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. By now, the racetrack for the 2023 presidential election is spilling over as aspirants get set to take off at the release of the shot by the starter. Preparations for this race have reached fever pitch, and as a result, politicking is now the heart of every matter on and offline. On hard copy, we may have also been bitten by that bug as we explore some of the talking points of the 2023 elections on the program. To achieve this, and in a characteristic manner, we'll feel the pulse of one of the many presidential hopefuls, so you can also make your own very critical decisions. Welcome. My guest today is publisher and presidential hopeful running on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Dele Momodu. Mr. Momodu, you're welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you for inviting me.
Indeed. In 2010, you ran for presidency, or were set to run for presidency on the platform of the Labour Party. And then you resigned from the Labour Party and joined the National Conscience Party. You secured the ticket of that party. Contested the presidential election, lost. In 2015, you campaigned vigorously for the presidential ambition of Momodu Buhari, who is the current president. And in 2022, you are back in the race. What do these many transitions say about your presidential ambition?
I came into the race to contest in 2011 because I was tired of complaining. We all complain in Nigeria. Wherever 2 or 3 Nigerians are gathered, they're always talking politics and complaining about all the ills of society without providing solutions. I've been writing about the problems of Nigeria in over 3 decades. I've provided solutions, but our leaders never listened. So in 2011, I wanted to contest on the platform of the Labour Party, and the Labour Party told me very clearly that they were not interested in fielding a presidential candidate. And since what I wanted was presidency, so I looked at a party that would be identical in philosophy, in ideology to the Labour Party, and I found one in the National Conscience Party, which had also produced Chief Gani Fahimi before my time. So, of course, I lost. And what was the lesson I gained from that? The lesson was that it is virtually impossible for you to win a national election without a national party, a spread. You spoke about Momodu Buhari. I was not a member of APC when I supported him. We felt PDP was fumbling and wobbly. So, what do? Let's look for an alternative. And based on that theory, that only 2 national political parties can compete favorably towards winning the presidency, since PDP was the one we felt was fumbling, and APC gave us so much hope at the time, so we shifted to supporting APC without being a member of APC. I support people on principle. I support individual candidates. In 2015, when Buhari took power, and I noticed the direction he was going, and I saw that that direction could only lead to perdition, I wrote him memos. And on one occasion, he invited me to Aso Rock. And I explained what I meant, my fears, what my hopes and aspirations were. And I gave him everything I wrote about President Jonathan, and I said I was going to be doing the same things to him. He agreed. He even asked me to autograph for him. I signed, and I left him. When I discovered that his case had gone beyond redemption, I washed my hands clean like Pontius Pilate, and I moved on. And I apologized to Nigerians publicly. I am tired of career politicians. My research, my investigation, my consultations have shown clearly that Nigerians have come to a conclusion that politicians cannot change Nigeria for the better. So we must begin now to look for the technocrats. And I'm a technocrat in politics. I have a job that I do.
Two things have emerged from your response, Mr. Momodu. And one is that you can only pursue an ambition successfully on a party with a national spread, and your disappointment in the current administration or the leader of the administration. I've watched you for some time, and I know that you prioritize ideology over any other primordial concern in politics. Now, if you're disappointed in the administration, are you also disappointed in your allies with whom you went on exile in the 90s, who remain in the party?
Well, it's not just about my allies. I believe that wherever you are, your principle must be constant. I am hoping that my people can imbibe that ideology of doing things on principle and not about expediency. In Nigeria, politicians talk about, I saw one of our governors on one of your programs the other day saying that let's win the election first, then we share. What are you sharing? It's not about sharing. It's not about portfolios. It is about doing the right things for the long-suffering people of Nigeria. These are things that politicians are not talking about. What I see now is people talking about consensus, talking about zoning. Nobody is talking about the bomb blast of a train. Nobody is talking about the invasion of an airport by bandits. Nobody is talking about our soldiers who are being slaughtered.
We'll get to all of that, but you no longer share the same principles with the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, your allies with whom you went on exile in the early 90s. How the lines have become blurred, really. The lines of ideology have become blurred, you know, as a result of that ease with which you have maneuvered from one party to another.
Yes,
that's the point here.
That's why I told you that it is a continuum. We must continue to search for that right candidate. You don't know if my disagreement with Tinubu today is ideological. It may not be ideology. It may be something much more fundamental. So don't let's jump into conclusions. Of course, for me to be in an opposing party means that I don't agree with their party. I believe that by now, younger people, more youth-friendly people should be coming up. That is what Nigeria desires. That's what Nigeria deserves. So it's nothing personal. Tinubu remains my big brother, my friend. Osinbajo remains my big brother, my friend. But I have fundamental problems with the party, where they are right now, and with their disposition. Because in the days of tribulations, the people must be able to run to their leaders, and their leaders must be able to come to their defense and their protection.
Is your current position born out of your own selfish
nothing
presidential ambition?
Had Buhari performed in 2015, I will still be his supporter. Had Atiku won in 2019 and he performed, I won't be contesting now. It is nothing personal. It is principle. The principle is that are you comfortable with the way Nigeria is today? The answer you will get is a resounding no from 95% of Nigerians, except the few who are taking advantage of the confusion in our political system. I don't see anybody who can, in good conscience, not even a God-fearing man can excuse what is happening in Nigeria today. I believe Nigeria is much worse now than it was in 1999, not even a few years back. Worse. A Nigeria that produced the Awolowos, the Azikiwes, the Tafawa Balewas, the Sadamas of Sokoto. The same Nigeria now is just producing politicians like popcorn. It's unfortunate.
You recently submitted your expression of interest and nomination forms, after which you criticized the monetization of the process, saying that it's a policy of exclusion that would not allow talented Nigerians find expression in the political process. how do you hope to change what you endorse by your own action?
Well, the first thing you must do in life is you follow, there is a procedure, there is a process, and there is what I call preparation. I've prepared for this journey. That's why you didn't see me in 2015, you didn't see me in 2019. So I was hoping maybe a miracle will happen and things will change. Then I won't have to leave my comfort zone to now go through what I'm going through now. And then when I joined the party, based on the realization that you can only win presidential on a national platform, I knew I must obey and conform to party rules and regulations. I obeyed first before I complained that 40 million for young people, for brilliant Nigerians who might want to come into governance. So I made sure I obeyed. Because if I didn't obey, then I had no basis of even contesting in the first instance. I would have automatically disqualified myself. So, but what we must continue to do, what must be constant, is truth. We must continue to speak truth to power. We must speak truth to ourselves. We must speak truth to our own political party. An average politician will not do that.
In relation to, the monetization of the purchase of the forms in the first place, you also talked about how politicians are going about boasting that they were going to win delegates, by distributing dollars and all of that. But then, how do you, are you living in very real fear that in itself is a threat to your ambition to getting even the first leg of the ticket?
Anyone who knows me knows that I hand over all projects to God. I believe fervently that only God can give you power in a country of 200 million people. And I'm also reassured by history, contemporary history of Nigeria, that no billionaire has ever succeeded in hijacking Nigeria. The only billionaire who ever won election was Chief M.K. Abiola. And he did it on merit, not because he had money. He was loved because he had been generous to everybody all over Nigeria. But most of the people I see today, they are not in that league of M.K. Abiola. So, when you see a serving public officer who has access to billions to boast openly that nobody can beat me, then Nigerians should be worried. I'm not afraid, because I had won election before against those who had more money than me. My last election in 2011, on the night of our primaries, I sent 2 copies of ovation to each rooms of the delegates. That's all I had. Silver and gold I had not.
But then that's a party that doesn't have a national spread, which is the requisite capacity you require to win an election.
But they had human beings.
So it's realistic that you have won on the platform of the
despite that, they had human beings from all over Nigeria. Everything starts small. I'm practical. I'm not going to tell the PDP delegates, if people bring your money back to you, take it. But vote for the best. If you vote an emperor, you will suffer, you will complain, you will grumble, you will groan, you will moan, you will lament for the next 4 to 8 years. So, I'm going to be talking to the delegates. People are asking me, so when are you meeting the delegates? Not yet. I still have over a month to go. Oh, when are you meeting with your board of trustees of your party? I said, don't worry, don't be in a hurry. I have my own strategy. I will use what I have to get what I want. The first thing is to show my capacity in the public domain. There is nobody in PDP today, whether you have been vice president, you have been senate president, you have been governor, who is more popular than Dele Momodu. I'm on the street, they are not on the street. The places I go, they can go. I went to Maiduguri market.
Isn't that wishful thinking? Are you riding on ideals and on the God factor?
It was wishful thinking.
The hearts of the delegates.
No,
when last were primary election won either without consensus or without the money factor in the country, in Nigeria?
I've just given you an example that those who were in National Conscience Party are Nigerians. I have faith in Nigeria. I've not given up on Nigerians. I don't believe that all Nigerians are buyable. And I have another thesis to give you. And that thesis is that even if you succeed in buying all the delegates, you cannot succeed in buying the general elections.
Before your declaration, Mr. Momodu, you had begun to identify with certain high-profile members of your current party, persons which could easily be identified as the political heavyweights that, well, I wouldn't necessarily say that you condemn. Are you fronting for any political heavyweight within the People's Democratic Party?
I am too old. I am too principled to front for anybody. In fact, the biggest insult anybody can give me in life is to think I'll go into a race I wasn't prepared for. Fronting for who? For what? If I needed any appointment in life, I would have had it in my 30s, in my 40s, in my 50s. I'm not fronting for anybody, but you must know that a political party is a platform of saints and sinners, if there are saints. Even when you become president, you will govern over saints and sinners. It's how you manage people and resources that will now determine your success or your failure.
Are you trying to get a foot in the door? Are you going to eventually settle for a senatorial ticket
A Dele Momodu.
or an appointment?
In fact, I always say that anybody who ever contests presidency and then came back to contest governorship or senatorial, it means that you didn't think well before you decided to go for a presidential race. I have principle. I have a sense of shame. Some people don't have shame. Anything you give them, they will take. Not me. One, I am not fronting for anybody. Two, I'm not looking for positions. Three, I am going to contest all the way. All the way. That is the whole idea. And I'm fully prepared for it. It's not a joke. Nobody pays 40 million for a joke. Do you know how much it costs to run a presidential campaign on a daily basis? Look.
And that's the point, really. If it took you years to prepare and get 40 million, why didn't you just prepare all the way so that you could also take care of the delegates, which is more realistic than riding on, you know, a strategy
let me tell you something.
Which to appeal to the delegates.
Let me tell you something today. There is nothing you can say that will tempt me into bribing delegates. Even if I have billions today, I will not bribe them. I will not promote corruption. If I say I want a change in my country, then the change must begin with me. There are things, there are thresholds you must never cross in life. I'm not desperate. I've told you I'm not looking for a job. Some people will say, why don't you go, maybe you can be a governor. I said, me? No, I want executive power at the federal level because I know that can instantly change Nigeria for the better. The day you have people who have managed their own resources successfully, if I ask you today to name 18 governors out of 36 governors in Nigeria, I know you are a journalist, you might not even remember. If I ask you what they did for a living before they became governor, I can bet my life you will not know. So, how can you now come to me and say they are better? I'm going to sell my personal accomplishment. I'm going to sell my reputation. I'm going to sell my global brand to the delegates. And if they accept it, oh!
And if they do not, which is our last point before we leave your chances of winning or losing, what's your plan B? If the delegates don't buy your capacity.
I am not God. That is, at that point, you leave it to God and to man. If they don't, then nobody will say in the future that Dele did not do it the right way. Nobody is going to say that. I want to be able to look at my children eyeball to eyeball and say your dad wasn't chicken-hearted. I'm not a chicken. So you're not going to roast me like a chicken.
Aspirants in your party have been appearing in groups, some advocating that the party goes the way of consensus, while some are vigorously urging the party to go by way of its tradition, which is zoning. Which of these groups do you belong?
For me, I'm a fresh candidate. I paid for a form to contest election, and I'm concentrating all my attention. If they do zoning, if they say it's consensus, I don't see in our constitution. Zoning, I see in our constitution. Those who are asking for consensus, I believe, with due respect to them, it's their right, but sometimes I find it a bit uncomfortable. If you believe in consensus, then why did you buy the form? So the 4 people going together, Saraki, Ayatuddin, Tambua, Bala Mohammed, so why didn't they start the consensus from their bedroom? You see, they say he who must ask for equity must come with clean hands. So, and even in law, they say Momodu in Kausaswa, a man cannot be a judge in his own cause. Why are you the one recommending to us consensus when you're already a participant? So, if you believe truly in consensus, I expect Saraki to pull out, I expect the other people, and then sit with the people. But you're already a participant, you're an aspirant.
So you admit that your party didn't think things through in the first place?
That's not my party. It's some people in my party who took it upon themselves.
But didn't your party anticipate that some members would advocate for a consensus?
No, that's not the business of a party.
So you didn't think things
through? No, that's not the business of a party. The business of a party is to organize a level playing field for everybody. That they have done by selling forms. They didn't ask anybody not to buy form. And those who want successor, they didn't ask them to go and buy form. They bought it voluntarily. So zoning is the only place where you can talk about the party. And I raise the voice. I speak all the time. When I bought my form, I said, why are you not talking zoning? Why didn't you take a decision of zoning before selling the form? So that way, those who have been zoned out will not waste their time and resources buying the form. I spoke up. I don't know if any other person has said that. But the Saraki group, because he's their spokesman or PRO, I don't know, but I see that he speaks for them all the time. I'm worried that we are toying with our democracy. Democracy is a game of fair contest. The moment you want to go through the back door by smuggling in a particular candidate of interest, I think that is dangerous to our democracy. Let them, before we believe their let them all pull out first. Okay, you cannot each individually buy the form and still be seeking consensus.
Where zoning is concerned, Mr. Momodu, it appears as if you are now neither here nor there.
No, I said zoning. No, I said zoning is okay because that's part of the constitution of the party. But zoning is not okay where you ask everybody to buy their forms before you now zone out to an area. That's all I've said. I'm here, I'm clearly on it. And I've told you,
if your party decided to zone, it would, you would profit from that because you're from the South.
My dear sister, so what if they zone to the north? Who says they can't zone to the north?
But how many groups within your party are advocating for zoning to the north? There are more aspirants within your party advocating for zoning to the south. I am happy. So you would profit from it, Mr.
Momodu. My dear sister, I am happy that we have more southerners in the race because that will further put pressure on my party to look southwards. But don't forget that you also have some powerful forces from the north who desperately want it in the north. Though my preference would be for the thing to come to the south, since it's a national...
Because it would favor you.
No, that's why I'm different. No, I will go for the election, whether it is zoned to the south or it is thrown open. I'm ready. So you cannot say I'm flip-flopping. No, I am ready. It's a national platform. Anybody today, I'm the most favored in the south. because I control 2 zones by the grace of God, by parentage, by whatever. My father is from South, my mother is from Southwest.
That's why you're liberal about zoning.
Yeah, I'm very liberal because I know that anybody who wants to run Nigeria today must have the capacity to unite Nigeria. Let's just go into our elections. If you want to support me incognito, and let's move on.
Mr. Momodu, thank you very much for being on Hard Copy.
Thank you so much for a wonderful time.
That's our program for today. What are the other hurdles before the aspirants in the race for the 2023 presidential election? Your questions are welcome on the handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching Hard Copy. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Bye for now.